welcome to the GrianaigCreations podcast channel. This is episode 95. My name is Kirsty, my pronouns are they, them, and I am coming to you from an extremely dreich Scotland, and to be more specific, Paisley, which if you're not good with the geography of Scotland, is really just a stone's throw away from Glasgow. It's been a hot minute since I have recorded a proper podcast episode. I was doing Vlogtober, and people don't really talk about the fact that when you're recording every single day that you kind of get sick of it. And more importantly, it's more the editing side of it you get sick of. And I don't edit my videos a great amount, but especially for the likes of today, I am going to be inserting a clip of my finished project that is on excuse me, is on the blocking mats just now. And when I bent down to touch it, it was still just a wee bit too damp for my liking to take off the mats. So I will be inserting a clip of a finished item, which means I'm going to have to do some editing. So yeah, it has been a hot minute since my last podcast episode, and I just want to say, for those that actually watched my Vlogtober episodes, thank you so much. I understand that it can be a lot to keep up with. I myself, I'm still catching up with some Vlogtobers. I don't watch YouTube every single day, and so I am still playing catch up with some of the Vlogtobers I was following. But yeah, I don't have too much to show today. I have really been practicing what I have been talking about on the last, if not the episode before, full episodes, not Vlogtober, where it's trying to remind myself and maybe some other people as well, and like, it's not so much reminding them, it's just helping them. I've had a lot of people reach out since I've spoke about the fact that knitting and crochet is a slow craft. We're not machines, we're not meant to churn things out every single day and have 20 finished objects in a month. No shade to anyone that does have 20 finished objects in a month. I myself have a chronic condition that does affect my energy levels, and I've been really beating myself up about the fact I'm not churning out item after item. And I had a good long talk with myself, basically being like, why are you upset about this? Why is it affecting you so much? And it was a comparison thing. I was comparing myself to other YouTubers, other Instagram accounts, and I wasn't able to show off the amount of things they were showing off. And at the end of the day, like I mentioned earlier, I do have a condition that does affect my energy levels, and therefore low energy levels means less crafting. And I also have a full-time job, so that does eat into quite a bit of what I would prefer to have as crafting time. So I only have 3 objects to share with you. 1 is a work in progress, 2 are finished items, 1 has only been finished as of last night. The 4th project I have been working on is the secret, not so secret, project for my mum for her Christmas. So for any new viewers, I am making the garter marler cardigan from Stephen West for my mum. She had dropped enough hints that is something she would like, and I have made something for my mum before. I made her oh gosh, the pattern has completely escaped my mind, but I did make her a cropped short sleeve top with some colour work in it. But the name of the pattern has completely escaped me, so if I am good with my editing skills, I'll put the name of the pattern down in like the bottom of the screen. I made that for my mum. It was meant to be for me, but it was a wee bit too big. So I really don't mind making things for my mum. She is extremely knit worthy, and when she showed such enthusiasm for this pattern. I was just like, okay, I'll make it for your Christmas. And she put one skein towards it that she has been holding on to for years. I do not know what's going on with my voice today, I'm sorry. My mum's been holding on to this skein for years now. Neither of us remember when she got it, but it was a skein from My Mama Knits, and she asked that that be the only colour that definitely is in this project. So I'm kind of holding on to it for most of the detail work, so the collar, the ribbing on the cuffs, the button band and the hem. I'm really hoping that that will be enough, like that one skein will be enough for all of those. Everything else is a surprise. She doesn't know about it, like she doesn't know the colours, and I would like it to stay that way. I would like it to be a surprise for her Christmas, but I do need to maybe take it down and just get her to do like a fit check now that I have split for the sleeves. Because it is garter, it will stretch out. I just don't want it to seem too tight. So I'd rather get her to try it on soon rather than keep going on the body and then have to rip back and do a couple more increases. So I'm going down to my parents on Thursday. I have an in-office day on Friday, and I like to go down like the day before to avoid traffic, to be perfectly honest. And also because I'm not great at driving in winter. So I'm going to get her to try it on then. But I'm going to make her put like her sleep mask on so that she doesn't see it. But yeah, I can't. That was a weird noise. I can't show it on the YouTube because I just don't want her to see it. I want it to be a surprise. So I'll show off two other items that I have been working on, and then like I said at the start, I do have a finished object that is blocking downstairs, so I'll insert a clip of that later on. So as of last night, I finished my Halloween socks. Let me tuck in that end. So they may be finished, but they've not got their ends woven in. But are we really surprised? So I had this one finished for probably about maybe a week, 2 weeks. And then I really kind of stalled out on this one. And for the longest time I had it just sitting just before you put the heel in. And the only reason I think I stalled out on that was because I can't just mindlessly put a heel in. I'm not quite there yet with remembering all like the steps and stuff. So it is a fish lips kiss heel, which I am getting better at remembering what to do. But at that point, this has been sitting on my desk basically, and I just couldn't put a heel in as I was kind of working through my day. So finally got the heel in. During the process of putting that heel in though, I did get a small slice on my thumb where the needle hit it at just the sweet spot and sliced my thumb open. So I just managed to get the heel finished because I was only getting it on my thumb when I was purling, and because you have pearls with the fish lips kiss heel, I had to work through it very carefully, and then I put the sock down. It went in the naughty corner, if I'm being completely honest with you. I didn't want to work on it until my thumb was completely healed. So I did have to wear a bandage, like a plaster, for a couple of days just because everything was catching on this tiny little cut, and it was just kind of opening it back up and making it sorer. So the sock did go in the naughty corner after I finally got that heel in, and then it just came back to being on my desk, where in my bag if I went out for like appointments or went out for a cup of tea or something. And I finally just sat down last night and I was just like, right, I really don't have that much to go. Scott and I were working our way through the Andor series on Disney Plus, and I just finished the sock. So these are my socks for the Halloween sock along. The self-striping here is Giddy Yarns Chaotic Cauldron. And then I did have the other ball downstairs, but I've not brought it up with me. But the black is literally just a King Cole 4-ply 75/25 sock yarn. I want to say it's like Crazy Feet or something like that, or Fab Feet, but it's the King Cole version, and it's just plain black. So I'm really, really happy with this. These are probably going to go into a rotation really soon, if I'm being completely honest, because I don't have many socks that are quite, like, to some people this is not long in the leg. Like, I'm not even sure how many rows it is. I think it's like 80 something rows. And to some people that's maybe not enough. And this is good for me. This is long for me. Like, normally my socks I kind of cut off here, and that includes the ribbing. So for me to have quite a long leg is really, really good. And I was doing that intentionally because of how few socks I have that are quite long. And I was getting really chilly ankles. I was getting cold ankles. I'll be honest, I was starting to suffer. Oh, I just realised. They are two different lengths. How did I manage that? Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yep, I get two different length socks. Oh well. I'm not going to notice when I'm wearing them. No one's going to take a ruler to them or do what I'm doing, which is try and like line them up. I think I'm out by 3 rows. But they look matchy-matchy. Like, if I hold them at the cuffs, they look matchy-matchy. So yeah, like I say, I got these finished last night. I done the Turkish toe cast on. I increased up to a total of 68 stitches, which is a little bit more than I would normally do. I would normally do 64, but I decided that maybe some of my socks are just a little bit too snug. I love the fabric I get on a 2.25mm needle, but I think if I'm being completely honest, I definitely need to start going up a sock size. I think 72 would be too big, so I went with 68. So increased up to 68. Knit the length I need using my Fish Lips Kiss Heel template. Pop my heel in, and then instantly once I went back to my main colour, I increased a stitch at each side. Knit for about an inch and a half. Popped another increase in each side, and then knit up to what I was hoping would be my desired length before doing a 2x2 cuff. So that is my vanilla sock. Now, talking about the Halloween sock along, I was running a little knit along with Mel of Mad Madam Mel. Go check out their podcast. I'll leave the information in the description box below. We were doing a knit along. We started on the 1st of October and we finished on the 31st of October. And basically there was no hard and fast rules, you just had to take part. Like, you did not have to get your sock finished. And to be fair, like, I am the perfect example of that. I finished these last night and we are now well into November. So yeah, all you had to do was just take part, and that is exactly what happened. We had a good couple of people taking part, and I had written everything down, and then, like I say, I've come upstairs because the lighting is just much better in here than it is in our living room, and I've left everything downstairs. But I did write down all the names of the people that took part. I assigned them a number, and then I've put that into random number generator, and the winner of the prize for my side of the Halloween sock along is Odd Knits Adventure. So massive congratulations to Amy on winning. I will be in touch, but to be completely transparent, I can't gift a pattern or send anything out in the mail until the end of the month. So I'm sure Amy will be absolutely fine with that. but it's just so that everyone else is aware of that fact. So just want to say like a huge thank you to everyone that did take part. Mel has also already drawn her prize winner. You would have had to have been on their Instagram to have seen that, but Mel has announced her winner. So yay, I'm really happy to have these off the needle. I'm going to get the ends woven in because I know if I don't do it, they'll never get woven in, if I'm being completely honest. Like, I found 9 pairs of socks that I've finished that never made it into my rotation because they were just put in this room. And I don't think any of them have their ends woven in. 9 pairs of socks. Which doesn't surprise me because some of the socks in my rotation that I actively wear still don't have their ends woven in. It's just something I do. Okay, so my next project really hasn't received a lot of love recently, but I reckon that with the change in weather here on, I still want to call Paisley the West Coast. I'm so used to just saying the West Coast of Scotland, so I'm going to keep with it, whether other people agree or not. It's not central, but it's definitely on the west. So the weather here has dropped. It is not freezing, but it has dropped and my joints are feeling it. And there was one day particularly bad for like my health. My mental health took a dip, my physical health was struggling, and I cooed up in bed with some podcasts, and for a couple of hours that was fine, and then I think I'd started just getting a little bit more energy back and my brain was starting to go, okay, things aren't so bad. As you do, you kind of have a pity party and then your brain goes, actually, it could be worse. And I got my blanket out. So this is my, let's not drop the giant ball of yarn on your toes. This is my granny stripe blanket. Oh, we're upside down. This is the granny stripe blanket that I've been working on for quite some time. And this is a Attic 24 pattern. It is free on their website. I will link that down below as well. They have a number of different crochet blankets. I'm also doing their crochet ripple blanket. I want to say that's what it's called. Haven't worked on that one either, but I did just find it. I've been going through all the boxes in this room. But I only got 2 rows on this blanket, but I really wanted to show it off because I'm really pleased with this blanket. I done like a fit check a couple of months ago where I put it on our bed, and we've got a king size bed, and I don't think I draped it over the bottom. I think I just put it at the bottom of the bed, like in line with the bottom. And I think I was maybe about like that far away from the pillow. So I think I'm going to do another fit check, but I'm going to have it drape over the bottom of the bed and see. But I think I've still got a good amount to go. And I could probably estimate like how many rows, like take like a tape measure or something and be like, right, okay, I've got 10 inches to go. And then put that against the blanket and count how many rows that might be. And I could maybe do like a wee countdown and maybe try to get like a row, at least a row a week done, if I'm being honest. I'm not going to set myself a row a day because I know I'll not stick to it. But at least maybe like a row a week would be nice. But it was just so nice to have out, and I just wanted to show it off because I haven't shown off this blanket in quite some time. But like, this is one kind of like half of it, no, 1/3 of it. So you can see all the different colours. And then we've got this section. And then we've got the top. So I really, really love this blanket, and it's so snuggly warm. And you really feel it when you take it off and you put it away and you're just like, oh, I'm cold now. And that's exactly what happened when I put it away, when I stopped working on it the other night. And this blanket, honestly, it does bring me so much joy to work on. And I think I'm gonna just keep it out and have my line of sight with it and be like, right, okay, let's get a row done. But yeah, so I've made a magic knot ball. This is my second one. It used to be a lot bigger. It used to maybe be like to about there. And these are all, I think it's like between 10 and 15, 20 gram minis of opal. And there's also scraps of Regia, there is scraps of Heart and Soul, Crazy Happy Feet, Happy Feet. It's all sock yarn. It's all sock yarn of a specific feel. There's nothing like slippy, like there's no superwash, I don't think. I don't think it's superwash. It doesn't feel like superwash. But it's all sock yarn of a specific feel. Like people would associate it with the words like rustic and hard wearing. And I didn't intentionally start the blanket with only this feel of yarn, but it has definitely turned into that, and that's all that is in this blanket, is that kind of specific feel of yarn. And I know that's not Scott's favourite feel of yarn, but I didn't make this blanket for Scott. I think I don't know if I started this blanket before Scott and I got together, but I reckon this is going to be mostly my blanket and not his. So that's fine. Like, he can't complain it's itchy because it's not for him. I'm not justifying it. That's just how it is, to be perfectly honest. He doesn't take a reaction to wool, but he will make it known if something is not soft. Like, I made him a hat with BFL and he's like, it's too itchy. So the hat got taken away from him. He did not deserve that hat. Not that he'd have worn it anyway. I do not know what's going on, that I need to keep coughing and clearing my throat. So apologies if that's really annoying, because it's really annoying for me. But yeah, I'm definitely going to keep this out and keep it in my line of sight, because I think it will just encourage me to work on it. And it's being kept in my Star Trek bucket bag. I picked this up at one of the Edinburgh Yarn Festivals. There's no label to say who the maker was, and I certainly do not remember. But I definitely picked it up at one of the older Edinburgh Yarn Festivals. So this is being made with sock yarn scrap, so that's 4-ply yarn, and I am working with a 3.75mm crochet hook. So at this point I will be inserting a clip of my finished object, which is the Kerr Sweater. The Kerr Sweater was a test knit that I was doing for Rebecca of the Crochet. She has her own podcast and her Instagram is really, really interesting and quite inspirational as well, so please do go check them out. The Kerr Sweater is a dropped shoulder design, and I done a version 2, which is a cropped version with a narrow band of colour work that sits kind of just below the bust, and then also runs at the same level onto both arms. I really enjoyed this test knit. It was such a learning experience for me. I have never done a drop shoulder. All of my sweaters, with the exception of, oh gosh, what, V-neck Magpie, have all been a raglan. Mount Pleasant tee wasn't, but that was bottom up as well. So the Mount Pleasant tee, the V-neck Magpie, there was one by Knit and Crochet and I can't remember the name of it, but it's got like mohair at the top and then DK or iron weight at the bottom, which I also think I'm going to rip out and redo. So with the exception of maybe 3, all my sweater projects are raglan. And so this drop shoulder design was a huge learning experience for me. And I did have to check a couple of things with the designer and in the Test Knit group chat that we've got going. But otherwise, I found it really, really interesting to work. And I used a 500-gram cone from Woolly Knits. And I don't for the life of me remember the colourway that I used, and I threw out the cone. So I'm going to have to look back at one of my Vlogtober videos, because I showed off and spoke about the colourway. But the yarn that I used, the colour of yarn that I used, matches my sofa downstairs exactly. Like, my main colour matches my sofa exactly. So I used pretty much the full 500-gram cone. I done size 7. I should probably start with that. I done size 7. The pattern will be out fairly soon, and you'll be able to check like the Ravelry page or the Payhip. I think Rebecca uses Payhip. I could be wrong. No, Lovecraft. She uses Lovecrafts. And you'll be able to see like the measurements and the yardage requirements. I pretty much used up a full 500-gram cone because it's held double, and I used about a cake and a half of whole skarn super soft in the magenta colourway. And I probably use a lot more than I would have, because I done contrasting cuffs and I also bound off the hem with my contrast colour. So I probably could have got away with maybe 1 ball of whole skarn, or I would have just gone into the second ball. So we'll see. I've still got to weigh all the rest of my yarn. I dug out my scales earlier when I was going through this room, so I'll be able to weigh the yarn and feed all that back to the designer along with all the other testers. So at this point I will insert the footage of the finished item. So it is a little bit later since I last recorded, and so I've lost a lot of the light, so apologies for the bad footage of this Kerr sweater. Once it is dry, I will obviously show you it on and show you close-ups and show you proper true representation of the colour. So this is it blocking. It's been blocking now for 2 days. And because it's right by the window, it's taking a while, but I've got nowhere else that I can put it. So I've got it all pinned out, and you can see that I've got my contrasting cuffs, and I've bound off with my contrasting colour. But I'm so pleased with the colour work on this, and I'll move in closer, and you can see hopefully quite well. The light obviously isn't fantastic. The colour work, like, I just think it looks really, really good. I'm really, really happy with it. So you can see here the dropped shoulder design and where I've picked up for my sleeves. I think I've done a fairly decent job, maybe not fantastic. And then there's some short row shaping at the sleeve to bring the shoulder down, and then my colour work again, and my contrasting cuff. I'm quite happy with the neckline. It is not too loose, it is not too tight, it doesn't sit too high up where I feel like I'm choking, and overall I'm just really, really happy with it. So touching it now, it is still just a tiny bit damp. So that probably will be dry for tomorrow, if not the day after. But I'm in no rush. I'm going to just let it do its thing, dry out, and then it'll be ready to have its ends woven in, and I can wear it, and I can get some photos for Rebecca for her her getting ready to release the pattern, and also to put on my project page for it, because I do need to load a project page. So let me just stand not ski with. And yeah, ignore the towel, that's for our leaky window. So yeah, I'm so happy that this is done. I'm really happy with how I've done it. And yes, I've blocked my sleeves at completely different angles. Clearly was not paying attention when I blocked this out, but oh well. So yeah, Kerr Sweater! Okay, so now that you've seen the finished Kerr Sweater, I'm just going to go into a bit of blather section. So first of all, do you like my t-shirt? This is the Yarnfire Club t-shirt from Amo Yarns. I will stand up later on and show the full thing. Amo Yarns were doing a Kickstarter that I unfortunately was not able to back, but I shared it as much as I could. And it wasn't for not wanting to back it, it literally is the fact that Scott and I have been going through a little bit of financial difficulty because his previous company haven't paid him, basically. So that is still ongoing, so I'm not going to go into too much talk about it or any of the details. But because he did not get his final pay from them, we have been very tight on funds. And because of that, I was really kind of pushing and promoting some of my patterns recently, and one of them in particular is my Kerr shawl. And I had this on for most of the day, but I've been cleaning a little bit and organising in this room. I got really warm, and this is only the 4-ply version. So it goes to show just how warm, like, even 4-ply can keep you. So I was trying to promote a lot of my patterns, and I'll put the links to my Ravelry and my PayHip store down below, because we're still fighting for Scott to get paid. And it's an absolute joke, if I'm being completely honest. The company are just... insert array of swear words. So if you would fancy a very interesting shawl project or a couple of my sock patterns, please check out those links below. It would greatly help us. A good number of very kind people saw my plea and bought my pattern, and because of that we were able to put more money onto our prepayment meter, because we are pay-as-you-go for our electricity. So it's kept us in electricity and heating, and it also allowed me to buy a little bit of shopping to get us some food. And then the other negative thing that happened this month is that Scott was unfortunately in a car crash. He is okay. He has been told he has whiplash by the doctors at A&E, but he is okay, as in he is alive. Cars can be replaced, people cannot. And so that is also still ongoing and being dealt with. So it's been quite a tough month for us, tough couple of weeks, between fighting his old company and the car crash, and still dealing with the windows and my health not being fantastic. It's been a lot. But do you know what? I've had my pity party, I've picked myself back up, we are still alive, we are still together. Not that anything was driving us to separate, but I think a lot of negativity in a relationship can create a wedge between some people, and if anything I think it's brought us closer together, and it's allowed us to actually have in-depth conversations instead of just kind of closing off and having our own separate pity parties. So yeah, we're still kicking, we're still fighting, we're still going, but it's been a lot to deal with. And at that, I'm probably going to wrap it up because I want to record another video or two today whilst I still have some energy. I done too much the other day. Like, I decided I really need to clean the inside of my car, and I don't regret it, but I used up all my energy that day. So I'm still on energy recovery mode, energy building mode, and I also still have the mind of somebody that's just like, we could cast this on, we could cast that on. So I want to record a video showing some of the things I do want to cast on soon, and some of the stuff I would like to start for Christmases. Two of which are garments for my goddaughters. So we'll see how that goes, because one of them is considerably smaller than the other. Lucy is wearing a size 7 to 8, and Erin is 18 to 24 months in size. So the one for Erin should fly in, but the one for Lucy might take a wee bit longer to make, and I would love to have them finished before Christmas, but I haven't even started them. So I just want to say a huge thank you to some of the people that have recently started subscribing to me, whether that has been through somebody talking about me on their podcast, whether you have just found me through YouTube or Instagram. Thank you so much for coming along to the channel. But I want to specifically just shout out and say a massive thank you to those that have subscribed through the Get Your Yarn Wishes Granted. I wasn't able to grant any wishes that involve buying like gifting patterns or sending things in the mail because of what I spoke about earlier with the financial side. So I only asked if people could subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I think about 13 of you have now subscribed, which is really great. I'm so thankful. I know I have a very small following compared to some podcasters, but if I were to picture that many people in a room, I'd probably have a panic attack, if I'm being honest. So even just those 13 new people that have subscribed, like, that's a lot of people in my eyes. So I just want to say a huge thank you for coming and subscribing to my channel. I hope you like what you see and that you do stick around and follow along, and we can interact a bit more as well. So until next time, please do stay safe. If you're on the northern hemisphere, the weather is changing and not for the better. It's been extremely wet and windy here, and I just want everyone to stay safe and warm. Yeah, if you don't have the energy to craft, don't beat yourself up because other people are doing it. Save your energy, maybe read a book, watch something on Netflix. I've been watching the Andor series, which was, I thoroughly enjoyed it. We finished it last night, and I think I'm gonna finally watch the Obi-Wan. I feel like so Glaswegian when I say Wan, because there's so many people in Glasgow that are just like Wan when it's like when they're trying to say number one. So Obi-Wan Kenobi. That was a wee rant. Sorry about that. But yeah, I'm gonna dart off now, finish my tea before it goes really, really cold, and I'm gonna record my next video, which is just some of the projects I really want to cast on soon. So thank you so much for watching. Please hit the like button and maybe drop something in the comments, and I will reply as soon as I can. But please do stay safe, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye!